For those of you that watched NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 3 last night, let me ask you guys this question. Didn't NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 3 feel like SummerSlam? I mean, last night's show was awesome. The atmosphere, the wrestling, the storytelling, everything about last night's NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 3 was awesome. You know, I loved it. I loved watching this show. It reminded me of why I'm a professional wrestling fan. You know, whether I'm watching WWE, NXT, Lucha Underground, ROH, it doesn't matter. What last night's NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 3 show showed me ultimately is that NXT is the superior brand. And last night's show felt like SummerSlam. And I'm recording this review as of today, which is SummerSlam Sunday. So SummerSlam has a lot to follow. And I don't think they're going to be able to top Brooklyn 3. Because NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 3 felt like SummerSlam. Hell, NXT TakeOver Brooklyn, since its inception in 2015, has just been an incredible, has been an incredible night, incredible show for NXT. It's their WrestleMania, And last night's show was no exception. In my opinion, not only was this show the best NXT TakeOver Brooklyn that I've seen since 2015, this was also, so far, this is the best NXT TakeOver special I've seen this year. Orlando was a really good show. Chicago was a really good show, but I think this show tops it. It was just an awesome show. What can I say? So welcome, everybody, to my live review of NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 3. Of course, I am Robbie One Kenobi, and I'm not going to waste any time because, like I just said, guys, NXT TakeOver Brooklyn last night, hell of a show. I loved everything about it. The storytelling, the performances, the match quality, the surprises throughout the night. We had guest commentators like Corey Graves and good old JR Jim Ross. I mean, just watching NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 3 last night, I'm just thinking about it now. Why can't WWE give us great shows like that? Look at what NXT did last night, and look at what they have been doing for like the past 3-4 years. I mean, why can't WWE take a lesson, take a page out of NXT's book? Why don't they just watch and observe and actually try and make their product better and more exciting? Everything that happened on NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 3 felt like SummerSlam, and that's what I want out of SummerSlam. Now, I'm going to be fair. I just want SummerSlam to be a good, fun show tonight. A very good show, hell, even a great show. But I doubt they're topping NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 3. Let's get right down to my review, guys. I have a lot to talk about, and it's all positive, pretty much, So the opening match was Johnny Gargano versus Andrade, Cien, Almas, and of course Andrade had the lovely Zelina Vega in his corner. Whew, what an opener, guys! Hell of a red-hot opener. Crowd was really into it. Crowd was heavily behind Johnny Gargano. I really enjoyed the fast pace of this match. I knew these guys could have a good to very good match, but man, this just exceeded my expectations. It was just a hell of an opener, had me on the edge of my seat. Some really good false finishes in this match. You had Johnny Gargano hitting his trademark slingshot spear, and then a few seconds later, he hit a nice slingshot DDT a la RVD. One spot I really did like was Gargano threw Andrade into the ropes, and Andrade did that like reverse 619 where he's just hanging in the ropes. He did that once in the match, and then he did it again, and this time Gargano cracked him across the chin with a super kick. Loved it. Then he hit like good old Mauro Ranallo says, he hit that Tope Suicida to the outside. Just a lot of fast-paced action in this match, guys. I loved it, and the crowd was red hot for this match too. Johnny Gargano went for another second. Another, obviously, slingshot spear, but Andrade caught him and hit him with kind of like a reverse neck breaker with the knee, and then hit a nice reverse tornado DDT. Johnny Gargano managed to lock in the Gargano escape, which is a head scissors takedown into the crossface, but Andrade countered with a buckle bomb, and then he hit that trademark double knees to the face in the corner. He went for it before and he missed, but this time he hit it. And then we get to the finish, which this was a really clever finish. I really like what they did with this finish right here. So Johnny Gargano setting Andrade up for the for the super kick, for his patented super kick. And then Zelina Vega throws a DIY shirt at Johnny Gargano. It distracts Johnny for just 1 second. And then he takes a drop kick and he gets drilled with the hammerlock DDT. And Andrade Cien Almas picks up a big win over Johnny Wrestling. I personally thought Johnny Gargano was going to win this match, just, you know, to show that he has moved on from what happened with him and Tommaso Ciampa at NXT TakeOver Chicago. But I thought this was brilliant booking because it keeps the DIY feud going. Because even though Tommaso Ciampa, is injured, they still are keeping this feud going. And that sure was very symbolic because even though Johnny said he's moved on, he's not bothered by what happened in the past, that shirt being thrown at him and the way he was looking at it after the match shows you there's still that one demon he still has to exercise. And that's, of course, Tommaso Ciampa. And when these guys fight at whatever NXT TakeOver special it goes down at, you know it's going to be something special. And it is going to be an insane match. I cannot wait. Because I've waited for these two to have a match at NXT TakeOver since their classic at the Cruiserweight Classic. And, you know, this little thing right here with the shirt and how that symbolizes that one little demon that Johnny Gargano still needs to exercise. That's just brilliant storytelling right there. The little things like that I appreciate in professional wrestling. I'm excited to see where Johnny Gargano is going to go from here because, of course, when Ciampa comes back, they're going to kick off that feud, and it's just going to be $1 million. It's going to be pure gold what they're going to do leading up to whenever they face off. I would love for these guys to face off at NXT TakeOver New Orleans the night before WrestleMania because you know that is going to be just an insane match. But a hell of an opener to kick off the show. 3.25 stars. Of course, guys, my star ratings are down below in the description box. Just, I love it. I love that ending. I'm happy Andrade got a big win. I was shocked, but I'm happy he got a big win because I always felt Andrade was underrated. And now with Zelina Vega in his corner, it looks like he's going to do big things. And it's going to be interesting to see where he goes from there. But like I said, I'm very excited for where things go between Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa, given the ending of this match between Andrade and Johnny Wrestling. Next, we had the NXT Tag Team Championship match. The Authors of Pain defending against Sanity. This started off as a flat-out fight. The bell hadn't rung, and AOP just charged to the ring, and they got it on with Sanity. Eric Young was on the outside pulling out a table, which would later come into play, and it was just wild. I mean, at one point, we have Alexander Wolf. Okay, so it's Alexander Wolf and Killian Dane for Sanity. Alexander Wolf starts off the match. He's mixing it up with AOP. And then Killian Dane was going to get the tag, but then Eric Young said, no, let me get the tag. And then Eric Young got the tag, and Eric Young replaced Killian Dane in the match because technically Killian Dane was never in the match. So Sanity pulled a Freebird rule, and Eric Young got to wrestle in the match. And from there, the fight continued. I believe it was Akam who fought Eric Young on the outside. And they even took the fight to the crowd once the match officially began. So it started off wild. And from there, it was a good, solid tag team championship match. Alexander Wolf had a strong showing in this match. He hit Akam with an exploder, Razor with a German suplex, and then he hit him with another, and then he hit a tope suicida over the top rope onto, I think, both members of AOP. It got wild, guys. Like, this was not the drag-out fight I was expecting it to be, but it was a good, solid fight for what it was. And like I said, Alexander Wolf had pretty much had his coming out party in this match. Towards the end, AOP hit Wolf with the double team suplex sit down powerbomb. They went for another variation of that with Eric Young this time while he was on the top rope, but Nikki Cross got involved. She held Eric Young's legs and she caused Akam to end up powerbombing Razor. Then Akam got pulled to the outside. Eric Young hit the top rope elbow drop onto Razor, but Akam pulled Razor out of the corner. And then Nikki Cross got into the ring. She wanted to get involved. And then Paul Ellering got into the ring. And obviously, he didn't get physical with Nikki Cross, but they got, face-to-face. And then Nikki Cross gets onto the top rope, tries a crossbody on Akam. Akam catches her. And then Killian Dane at full force crashes into Akam, puts him and Nikki Cross to a table with a diamond cross body. And then Eric Young and Alexander Wolf hit a double team side slam neck breaker onto Razor for the win. And Sanity are your brand new NXT Tag Team Champions, just like I predicted. AOP have finally fallen. Crazy ending. Crazy table spot towards the end. AOP have fallen, like I said. Sanity are now your new NXT Tag Team Champions. You know, Nikki Cross made me even more of a fan with what she did with that cross body. I mean, the girl is crazy, but the girl is awesome. But it didn't end there, guys, because after the match, Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish, Red Dragon themselves, got into the ring and just put a beat down on all four, on both teams, on AOP and on Sanity. And their statement is pretty clear. They want the NXT Tag Team Championships. They're ready to take over the NXT Tag Team division. And it was funny because going into the show, I said to myself, you know, you got Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish in NXT. They recently just debuted in losing efforts against Aleister Black. And I was thinking to myself, they were Red Dragon in ROH. Why not reunite them as Red Dragon? They can even use the name in NXT and have them go after the NXT Tag Team Championships. If Sanity didn't win this match, I think Red Dragon would have been the ones to dethrone AOP. But now Red Dragon is here to make a statement, and I'm happy to see them reunite as a team. And I'm excited for what's going to happen with Red Dragon I mean, I don't know if they're going to be called Red Dragon in ROH. I mean, in NXT. But I'm happy that, you know, that Red Dragon are in NXT. I'm happy that they're setting their sights on the NXT Tag Team Championships. It's going to really bring a lot of prestige to the NXT Tag Team division. So, good, solid match between AOP and Sanity. Sanity are the new Tag Team Champions, but Red Dragon were the ones that made a statement. I'm excited to see Red Dragon in the NXT Tag Team division. After that, we had Hideo Itami versus Aleister Black. I forgot to mention this in the AOP versus Sanity match, but that match had a guest color commentator, and it was Corey Graves. So I was happy to see Corey Graves back. It was great to see him do commentary with Nigel McGuinness and Percy Watson and Mauro Ranallo. And see, guys, that's what I said. It's just the little things like that, the little surprises that I enjoyed. And that's what I want to see more out of WWE. I love how NXT brought in Corey Graves for the NXT Tag Team Championship match. I personally wish he would have stayed the whole show because I love Corey Graves as commentator. He just does great things on commentary. But for this match between Hideo Itami and Aleister Black, we got none other than good old JR, Jim Ross. And guys, that meant we had Jim Ross and Mauro Ranallo on commentary. It was awesome. They did great stuff together. I loved it. You know, and you also had Nigel McGuinness on commentary with Mauro and JR. So it was great. I mean, think about it, guys. Mauro Ranallo. He can't replace JR, but he's probably the next best thing. You know, he's probably the best predecessor to JR, so to speak, on commentary, because there will never be another Jim Ross. You guys know that. Nigel McGuinness, this guy's holding it down on his own as a commentator. And I especially love when he calls matches involving the competitors from the United Kingdom Championship Tournament, because you really feel his passion for commentary, because he's a proud British wrestler himself, or was a proud British. You know, he's proud British himself, and he was a proud British wrestler at one time. And then you got, you know, good old JR. Enough said. So they added great commentary to what was a hell of a match between Hideo Itami and Aleister Black. It was a 12-minute match. I wish it would have gone 7 minutes longer, but for what it was a hell of a hard-hitting fight. You know, I predicted it could have been the match of the night. It wasn't, but it was still a hell of a hard-hitting battle between these two. I mean, Hideo Itami got into Aleister Black's face right before the match even started. And then once the bell rang, they just went at it, strike for strike. I loved it. I love how Hideo Itami has really shown great. I just love how this heel turn has been working out for Hideo Itami. He's really showing that hunger and that fire as this heel. And I love how he just demands respect. And I love how he got in Aleister Black's face, and he didn't give a damn who Aleister Black was. He got in Aleister Black's face ready for a fight. I loved it. So as far as this match goes, guys, like I said, they were just trading strike for strike. They were just going at it, you know, mano-y-mano. I don't know what exactly happened to Aleister Black, but his nose was busted open. His nose was bleeding pretty bad. I don't know if he got his nose broken by Hideo Itami or whatnot, but I just love how hard-hitting this match was. You know, some highlights included Aleister Black hitting his patented Asai or springboard moonsault. Itami hit his patented tornado neck snap. And then Hideo Itami hit this nice-looking avalanche falcon arrow. I've never seen it before, but it was a 6-6 spot. And then towards the end, Hideo Itami's arrogance and his demand for respect ultimately cost him the match, because he was demanding that everyone give him respect. He ran toward Aleister Black, and Aleister Black out of nowhere cracked him with the black mass for the 1-2-3. And I was surprised with this win only because I thought with Hideo Itami as the heel, he was going to beat Aleister Black, because I think Aleister Black losing to Hideo Itami wasn't going to hurt him. You know, one loss would not hurt Aleister Black. And I love how, you know, this guy's over with the crowd. You know, he's still a mysterious entity because we don't really know what his prerogative is or what his intentions are in NXT. You know, that's what makes him such a unique character, how mysterious and dark he is. He's that entity that is found, how do I say this? He's that entity. There's good and there's evil. But in between good and evil, you have Aleister Black, this mysterious entity who's just awesome. He's quite a striker, and he's awesome, you know. I don't know really what else to say, guys. I'm sorry, but it was just a hell of a match between Aleister Black and Hideo Itami. I don't think this loss, you know, the loss doesn't hurt Hideo Itami at all, but I was just surprised he didn't get the win, because I thought with his heel turn and everything, he would have gotten the win. I honestly can't even recall one time Hideo Itami. Well, no. He got a win over Tyler Breeze at TakeOver Rival. He was on the winning side with Finn Balor against Ascension. So he's gotten some wins at NXT TakeOver. So yeah. But anyway, hell of a match. We'll see if Hideo Itami eventually gets called up to the main roster. But other than that, guys, hell of a match. And having JR on commentary with Mauro Ranallo and Nigel McGuinness was just awesome. I mean, what more can I say? Next, guys, we had the NXT Women's Championship match. Asuka defending against Ember Moon, and this, guys, was just a hell of a Women's Championship match. Hell of a wrestling match between these two. Match of the night, no doubt. I said if it wasn't Aleister Black and Hideo Itami, then it could be and would be Asuka versus Ember Moon. And I just really enjoyed the storytelling in this match. They had a great match at NXT TakeOver Orlando, but there was more at stake in this match, and there was better storytelling, I believe. Ember Moon right off the bat hits Asuka with like a calf kick, a heel kick, knocks Asuka out of the ring, and she just goes after Asuka. Ember Moon was not going to let this opportunity slip away from her, and she knew exactly what she had to do. So that was awesome. She goes right after Asuka. She hit a nice cannonball from the top rope onto the outside, and the way she was positioned, I thought she was going to go for the Eclipse. I thought she was going to hit Asuka with an early Eclipse and then get her back into the ring and maybe go for another Eclipse. But, you know, she hit a nice cannonball, and she just was on Asuka all, you know, throughout the beginning of the match until Asuka managed to throw Ember Moon's face first into the steel stairs, and then Asuka took it over from there. Asuka did work on Ember Moon's injured shoulder, so I do like the continuity there and the storytelling. And you know, these women just went out there and they did their thing. They went strike for strike. Asuka again worked on the injured shoulder of Ember Moon. Ember Moon took a German suplex in the corner. I'm not sure if her head hit the turnbuckle or if it grazed the turnbuckle, but other than that, you know, these two just went at it. And then we get to this one moment. Now, this one moment I have a little problem with, and I'll explain to you guys why. So Ember Moon is on the top rope. Asuka tries to stop her. She fights Asuka off. And then Ember Moon hits the Eclipse. She covers Asuka. 1, 2. Asuka kicks out of the Eclipse. And Asuka has this shocked look on her face. This concerned look like, oh my God, she just kicked out of my Eclipse. What do I have to do to beat her? You know. Now, my only problem with this was that when it happened, it just happened all anticlimactically. Like, I remember Ember Moon kicks Asuka off. Asuka's just standing there. She hits the Eclipse, and I'm like, no way. Like, there's no way she's gonna beat Asuka like that. I think Asuka's gonna kick out. That's my only problem with that false finish. It didn't feel like a false finish. It just happened out. It just happens. It just happened anticlimactically, and then of course Asuka kicked out. So then Asuka tries to prevent Ember from going for another Eclipse by doing the same thing she did at Orlando. She tried to use the referee as like a the referee as like a shield, and she was gonna try and throw Ember or the referee into Ember. Ember jumps off with a crossbody, connects onto Asuka, but Asuka rolls through, grabs a hand of the tights, and then as the referee's counting, referee happens to see that Asuka's got Ember Moon's tights, stops the count, tells Asuka, you know, he reprimands Asuka. While Asuka's arguing with the referee, Ember Moon cracks her with a super kick, and that was a better false finish than the one with the Eclipse. But again, Asuka kicks out, and Ember Moon is just, I don't want to say distraught, but she's like, what do I have to do to beat this woman? I pretty much hit her with everything in my arsenal, and that distraction, that concern, ultimately costs Ember Moon, as Asuka got her in a cross arm breaker. After that, Ember Moon managed to roll out. She managed to break it, but then Asuka locked her into the Asuka lock in the middle of the ring, and Asuka managed to make Ember Moon submit and retain the NXT Women's Championship. And I was shocked because I honestly did not think that Ember Moon was going to lose to Asuka. I honestly thought Ember Moon was going to dethrone Asuka, and then we were going to get one more rematch between them. I thought Asuka's time as NXT Women's Champion was up, but no. Shockingly, Ember Moon lost the second time in a row to Asuka. And, you know, I don't know if anybody's beaten Asuka at this ring. I do not know. Because Ember Moon didn't do it at Orlando. She didn't do it here. And I honestly thought Ember Moon was going to be the one to beat the undefeated one. And it didn't happen. And Asuka, I mean, that just shows you how awesome Asuka is. This dominant reign she's had as NXT Women's Champion, the fact she's still undefeated, 505 days. I mean, my God. You see that WWE has put a lot of stock in Asuka. And when she gets up to the main roster, they better treat her like they treated her on NXT. They better have her undefeated for quite some time. That's my only concern, that they're not going to book her as well and as strong as she was booked on the main roster. But kudos to Asuka and kudos to Ember Moon for a great women's championship match, for a great wrestling match. Love the storytelling, love the psychology. And Ember Moon, even in defeat, she was, you know, she received a standing ovation from the crowd. They chanted, "Thank you, Ember." You know, she was sitting down. You know, she was sitting down by the ropes, and she looked distraught. She was upset that she lost, a little emotional. But they showered her with "Thank you, Ember" chants and a standing ovation. You know, that's not the end of Ember Moon. Even in defeat, she looked like a strong. How do I say this? Even in defeat, she looked strong, and you know this isn't the end for Ember Moon. She will be back. She will eventually be NXT Women's Champion. I personally hope, my good friend Gene from BSP Wrestling Show mentioned that he thinks Ember Moon's going to get called up to the main roster. I hope that's not the case. Ember Moon should stay on NXT for another year, win the NXT Women's Championship, and then when she drops it, call her up to the main roster. But great match between Asuka and Ember Moon. Definite match of the night, you know, 3 3/4 stars. The same rating I gave their match at Orlando, but I really like the storytelling and the drama in this one more than the match in Orlando. And we'll see, guys. Can anyone stop Asuka? I heard the winner of the Mae Young Classic will get a title shot at her. And most likely the strong bet is it's going to be the other Japanese star that's in the Mae Young Classic. And then those two will go at it, and most likely Asuka will pass the torch. So I don't even remember that chick's name, Karai or something. But yeah, this should be, it's going to be interesting to see if Asuka even leaves NXT undefeated. I mean, I remember trying to do a video where I wanted to talk about the potential of Asuka winning, you know, just going up to the main roster, never losing the NXT Women's Championship. And who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? But thank you, Asuka, and thank you, Ember, for that great match. And that is not the last you've seen of Ember Moon. Even in defeat, She looks strong, and you know she's destined for bigger and better things. And finally, guys, we get to the main event for the NXT Championship. The glorious Bobby Roode defending his championship against the undefeated Drew McIntyre. My thing with this match, guys, was it was a good, solid main event. The problem with it was, well, I did notice the crowd was not into this match, especially after all the exciting things that happened before, pretty much before this match, you know. With everything that happened before this title match, the crowd was pretty much burned out. And I just, like, I understand Bobby Roode is more of an old school wrestler. He's more of a methodical wrestler. He does things at a slow pace. And, you know, it's nothing against the performers themselves, because Drew McIntyre and Bobby Roode are great performers. I just didn't like the pacing of this match. I felt like it should have been more of a hard-hitting battle. Other than that, I thought it was a good, solid main event, but it was not the best I've seen from Drew McIntyre and Bobby Roode. And like I said, this is not a knock on either guy. You know, both are great wrestlers. I just felt the main event wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be. I just wasn't a fan of the methodical pace taken here in this match. But other than that, like I said, guys, it was a good match. There was some good highlights in it. Drew McIntyre hit a Future Shock DDT for a 2 count. He hit the Claymore kick on Bobby Roode, but Bobby Roode was so close to the ropes, it was easy for him to get his foot on the bottom rope. He rolled out to recover, but McIntyre, who at the start of this match, guys, you could clearly see the height difference between Drew McIntyre and Bobby Roode. And I don't recall Drew McIntyre ever being that tall before he returned to WWE. He was clearly the bigger guy than Bobby Roode. So McIntyre, at his 6 foot whatever self, hits a rolling, or not a rolling, a running flipping senton over the top rope onto Bobby Roode. That woke the crowd up, because the crowd was, I don't want to say they were dead, but the crowd was pretty much burned out after everything else that happened prior to the main event. Back inside the ring, McIntyre went for a second Claymore kick, and Bobby Roode countered with the double A spine buster. He hit not one but 2 glorious DDTs, and after the second one, he rolled over for the to transition into a third, but McIntyre countered with a stiff headbutt. He drilled Bobby Roode with one more Claymore, and after a 1, 2, 3, Drew McIntyre is your brand new NXT champion. What a way for Drew McIntyre to solidify his return to WWE and his current run in NXT. He looks better than he did during his first run, and I'm happy that Drew McIntyre is the brand new NXT champion. So Bobby Roode most likely will get called up to the main roster. I didn't expect that he was going to lose the championship at NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 3, because I thought, if you guys remember my predictions, I thought Roderick Strong was going to get involved. He was going to go after Bobby Roode. He was going to inadvertently cost Drew McIntyre the match, and then we were going to get a rematch, or a triple threat match between these guys at NXT TakeOver Houston. But I don't think Bobby Roode's done with NXT just yet, because he still has unfinished business with Roderick Strong, because Roderick Strong won the match with Drew McIntyre via DQ, and that earned him a shot at Bobby Roode. So they're not done yet. So I'm looking forward to seeing what happens between Bobby Roode and Drew McIntyre. And there's still things you can do with McIntyre and Bobby Roode. You know, Bobby Roode can enforce his rematch clause for the championship. You know, Roderick Strong could eventually become #1 contender and get a shot at Drew McIntyre. You could do a triple threat match with these guys at NXT TakeOver Houston. See, that's what I like. There's still things that can be done between these three. It's not like on Raw, where it's pretty obvious what's going to happen next, you know, for any of the major titles. You know what I'm saying? You can do Drew McIntyre versus Roderick Strong again for the title. You can do Drew McIntyre, Bobby Roode, the rematch. You can do a triple threat with these guys, you know? There's possibilities. And I don't think Bobby Roode's getting called up to the main roster just yet. It might happen this week on Raw. It might happen on SmackDown. But there are still things for him to do in NXT. But I am happy that Drew McIntyre won the championship. I didn't expect it. I honestly thought Roddy was going to get involved, but when I saw Roderick Strong in a suit sitting next to Daniel Bryan and Kurt Angle in the skybox, I was like, okay, he's probably not getting involved. So, It is what it is. But Drew McIntyre is the champion. I'm happy for him. And that pretty much brought NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 3 to an end, guys. I mean, hell of a show. Loved it. The main event, you know, was what it was, but everything else was good to great, exciting. It just made me appreciate NXT more. And with that said, guys, that'll do it for my NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 3 review. Thank you all for watching and listening. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. How could I forget? There's one more thing that happened. And to me, this was the best way for NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 3 to end. So Drew McIntyre is celebrating his NXT Championship victory. And as he's celebrating, the crowd starts to get really hyped and really excited. All of a sudden, they woke up, you know, and they're all looking. And when I saw them looking, when I heard the reaction, I was like, where is he? Where is he? Because all night, I was wondering where and when a certain somebody was going to make his long-awaited debut in NXT. So McIntyre turns around, and in the corner are Red Dragon. Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish are in the corner just staring at Drew McIntyre. McIntyre's looking at him like, what, you two want to go at it with me? You two want to take a shot at me? And as he's moving closer toward him, out of nowhere, McIntyre is assaulted by none other than, and say it with me, guys, say it with me, 3, 2, 1, Adam Cole, baby! Adam Cole jumps Drew McIntyre from behind. Red Dragon joins in on the beatdown. They hold Drew McIntyre up, and Adam Cole lays Drew McIntyre out with a super kick. 3 of the top stars from ROH have just made an impact in NXT. ROH ended an NXT TakeOver show by pretty much making a statement and in their own way taking over. It was freaking awesome. I thought Adam Cole would have debuted in NXT TakeOver Chicago, but this was perfect because you had Kyle O'Reilly, Bobby Fish, and Adam Cole in the same ring on the perfect night. NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 3. I loved it. And I'm so excited to see what I'm calling this the ROH TakeOver. I won't even be surprised if they call themselves the TakeOver, because you have 3 of the top guys from ROH in NXT looking to make a statement. Red Dragon want the tag team titles. Adam Cole eventually wants the NXT championship. It's crazy. I would not be surprised if these 3 hold all the gold in NXT. And if you remember, me and my good friend Daniel Guys wanted to see Sanity win all the championships in NXT. Now, eventually they would have to get a female to join them to win the NXT Women's Championship. And to me, the only 2 females that I think would be perfect to win the NXT Women's Championship in this to complete this ROH takeover would be Mandy Leon and Vega Scott. I would also say Taylor Hendricks. And I don't know, you know what? I don't know if Ruby Riott ever wrestled in if she ever wrestled in ROH. I'm actually going to look that up right now. I'm going to look up if Ruby Riott ever wrestled in ROH. She's wrestled for Shimmer, Shine, OVW, Stardom. No. Looks like she hasn't wrestled for NXT. She is in NXT. Duh. I mean, it looks like she hasn't wrestled for ROH. So, yeah, I think then to complete the ROH takeover, you'd have to do Cole as the champion, Red Dragon as the tag team champions, and then either Mandy Leon, Vega Scott, or Taylor Hendricks as the NXT Women's Champion. So that was one hell of a way to end NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 3. Overall, guys, I'm giving the show 8.5 out of 10. I wouldn't say it was a perfect show, but it was an awesome show. I mean, I loved the atmosphere. I loved the crowd. I loved the excitement. I loved pretty much all the matches. I love the surprises, including the ROH takeover of, you know, with Adam Cole and Red Dragon. So I'm really excited to see what NXT is going to do what they have in store for the future. You know, with Sanity as NXT Tag Team Champions, Red Dragon making a statement, Adam Cole making a statement, Drew McIntyre as the NXT Champion. This is the best NXT TakeOver special since the brand split. You know, when I feel like this is their strongest NXT TakeOver special since losing a few names in the brand split and in the Superstar Shakeup as well. You know, so very happy with how everything played out in NXT. And I'm excited, guys. And that's what I want from WWE in general. I want WWE to make their pay-per-view special and leave me excited for what's going to happen on Raw and SmackDown. You know, we'll see where things go from there. But I'm just going to say this. To end my review, I'm going to say this. First off, I'm going to say, everybody who watched and listened, thank you, of course, as always. Leave your comments down below and tell me what you thought of NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 3. Here's how I'm going to end this review. Triple H really needs to leave WWE and put all his investments into NXT to make NXT its own brand, and then eventually give WWE a huge run for their money. Because if WWE has the competition, then they will start actually giving us a better product, and they'll make the necessary changes to have a superior product. I really want Triple H to take NXT by himself. I want NXT to be its own brand, and I want Triple H to take over the sports entertainment landscape with NXT. This isn't a prime example of why NXT is a superior brand. And that's why I would love for Triple H to make NXT his own brand, and then he can do even bigger and better things like crossovers with ROH, maybe crossovers with Lucha Underground, who knows. But I really want Triple H to take over the sports entertainment industry with NXT. Make it his own brand, separate himself from WWE, put all his money and investments into NXT, and watch the money flow in, and watch him put WWE almost out of business. Or hell, maybe he will put WWE out of business. I don't know. But I want hashtag Triple H TakeOver. That's what I want. I want a Triple H TakeOver. I want him to make, him and William Regal and Stephanie, to make NXT the sports entertainment juggernaut, you know. Thank you, everybody involved with NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 3 for making it one hell of a show, for making it quite a special show for me, because it took place last night on my birthday. So even though I wasn't there live in Brooklyn, what a birthday treat for me to enjoy NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 3. So thank you to everybody involved with NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 3, from the commentators to the wrestlers to the surprises. I loved it. Thank you for making that show awesome. Thank you for making it quite a birthday treat for me. And thank you for making me a proud wrestling fan. Thank you all for watching and listening, guys. This is Robbie1 Kenobi signing off. Make sure to tune in either later tonight or tomorrow for my SummerSlam 2017 review. And yeah, SummerSlam has a lot to live up to. We'll see if they can do it. Thanks for watching and listening, guys. I'm signing off for now. Catch you guys later. Everybody enjoy SummerSlam and have a good day.